played midfield and I didn't like to be a defender, but at some point the trainers in the Ajax youth, they told me that I was a really good midfielder. Probably I could have reached also professional football, but they said that with my body it would be an advantage to play centre back. So I played centre back, and then my career went really fast. From I think at 15 I started to play centre back, and 16 I was in the first team. So it went really fast afterwards.
What became apparent in the first few years of him being at Ajax was that he was going to be able to be a dominant force physically, but also a potential leader, and I think they recognised that fairly early on.
The coach who gave me my debut, Peter Bosch, he's now the coach of PSV Eindhoven. He gave me a lot of confidence. He put me in the first team. He let me make my debut. He learned me a lot. What I say, he gave me a lot of confidence, but also in the way of playing, the way of training. And obviously afterwards, in my last season, I got Ten Hag, who is now a trainer here. I have a really good connection with him. He made me also captain of the first team of Ajax. So, yeah, these two in that time in the first team were a really big influence for me.
When he was 17, there was a recognition that he was ready for first team football, and he scored on his debut, became the second youngest scorer for Ajax behind Clarence Seedorf. That was in a cup game against Willem II.
Maybe one of the best feelings I've ever had in my career, because it was the first game and the first professional game for me. I was really nervous beforehand, what is quite normal, I think. And then to score a goal like this, win 5-0, yeah, it was an amazing night. And yeah, I was so happy that day, and yeah, until now I'm really proud of this great moment. When I was really young, I was a really big fan of Cristiano when he played here. He was a really big example for me, a really big idol, because at that time I still wanted to be an attacker, so then you look more to attackers.
I think we only have a chance to beat Manchester if we can play our own game. We have a way of playing developed this season, which I always call the Ajax way of playing. So if tomorrow we are capable to play our way, we have a chance.
It was a big night, really special night. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but I remember we played against them and we were standing in the tunnel, and I see Antonio Valencia going past, like so big, so strong, and I saw, yeah, we were so kind of intimidated by the strength and the physicality that they had. And yeah, we had a really tough game also because they played a game that we were not used to. A lot of long balls, a lot of duels in the air. And yeah, we lost 2-0, unfortunately. I just walked through the museum and I saw the prize and I was like, yeah, nice that you guys won it, but I prefer to have won it myself with Ajax. But it was a really nice chance and occasion for us to win a prize.
The interesting thing about De Ligt getting the Golden Boy Award is it's part of a period in his life where he's really exploding into the public consciousness, because he gets that, which is an eye-catching award for a young player, effectively being called the best young player in the world. And then it's part of a season where he's the captain of Ajax, youngest Ajax captain. Erik ten Hag has given him that responsibility, but he also leads his team to not only a domestic double with Ajax, but also the semi-finals of the Champions League.
When you see that someone wins this prize, you start to look like, hey, who's this kid or who's this guy? And before I knew that people or the football fans, they knew me, but after I won this prize, it became even more. And yeah, it was a really nice way of getting recognition for the things you're doing, and to win it as the first defender obviously was a really big honor also.
I think I've got a lot of experience for 90 years old, but that's why I want to make this step to get more experience and to learn. I was really honored how the Juventus fans welcomed me, and I was really proud of that, and I hope I can give them much back.
I think the move to Juventus was a natural step for De Ligt. He'd had that amazing season when they got to the Champions League semi-finals. So then it was about whether he could make that step up, and Juventus paid a lot of money for him. And it was part of a cultural shift at Juventus because they'd won a lot of Serie A titles in a row. And what they then really wanted was to win the Champions League. So he came in as a big money signing, a statement signing, Cristiano Ronaldo at the club. But the dynamic was very different. If you think that at Ajax, he was very much the leader, very much the captain, very much the boss of that defence. He then goes to Turin, and they've got Leonardo Bonucci and Giorgio Chiellini, who are very much established as masters of the centre-back craft.
When I went to Juve in the beginning, I felt that it was sometimes difficult because you in the top leagues you can't do anything or everything on intuition. You also have to play with your head a little bit more. So this was a big change in my career.
I think if you look at his spell at Juventus, in totality, he's been a regular starter in all 3 seasons, under 3 different coaches. He's won a league and he's won a Coppa Italia. So you have to see it as having had a high degree of success.
Incredibly happy, of course, to become part of such a big club with such a big history. The biggest club in Germany, one of the biggest clubs in the world. For me, it's an amazing honor, and I'm really happy to be here.
You look at what happens at Bayern. He gets there under Julian Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann is somewhat surprisingly sacked midway through the campaign. Thomas Tuchel comes in, and they only win the league on goal difference on the final day. And so that was seen as a really poor campaign for Bayern that he was a part of. And then in the second season, it's very difficult for De Ligt because he picks up a knee injury. He still plays a lot of games. He still starts a lot of games. But there's a lot of chaos behind the scenes in terms of speculation about Thomas Tuchel's future. Is he going to see out the campaign? And out of nowhere, Bayer Leverkusen come up with a season for the ages. So that's then very difficult because he's under pressure. The whole Bayern squad's under pressure.
I felt like we had a really good team. We could come really far in the Champions League. Unfortunately, we didn't win it, but we had a really good chance last season. I think also we almost went to the final. But yeah, it was a really nice and big step for me because it was a new culture again, new players, new city. Everything was new again. And
he did win a Bundesliga title with them, just as he'd won national titles with Ajax and with Juventus. And I think he certainly gave his all, certainly fronted up as a leader, but was involved with Bayern at a very difficult time for the club, where there was a lot more uncertainty than perhaps there usually is. There were thousands and thousands who signed up to a petition and said, don't go, we want you to stay. But ultimately, Bayern made that decision. I think he needs to learn what United want. I think that's still in flux to some extent under Erik ten Hag. But I think once things settle down, he's the kind of standard setter you need in a dressing room for a club to take that step forward.
it was a great opportunity for me also to have the chance to play in the Premier League. I think that's the best competition in the world, and to develop as a player, it's a really tough but good way to improve. Hopefully we can grow together and make United great again as before. Of course, it goes always step by step, but until now I'm really happy to be here and to feel that we are growing as a team. So hopefully we can continue like this.
I think he has a clear plan, and he knows so very clear that planning and how he wants to achieve. A very ambitious and driven person, and also he takes control of this plan, and that brings him where he is now.
I've played with so many amazing centre backs. I played with Van Dijk, I played with Chiellini, Bonucci, Upamecano, I played with Kim Min-jae in Munich. But if I have to name one where I felt really like the best partnership, where I felt like together we worked the best, was with Daley Blind. I had a really good connection with him. I think we complemented each other really well. We felt exactly where we had to go, where we could help the other one, and yeah, I think that's still until now, the partnership that I feel like the best connection together.
The thing that's really remarkable about Matthijs de Ligt is he was seen very early on as somebody that could be a potential superstar. He not only lived up to that in terms of being a Dutch international at 17, a player in a major European final at 17, an Ajax captain as a teenager, somebody who led a team into the semi-finals of the Champions League, but he's gone on to have so many more experiences than that. He's won trophies in major tournaments. He's played under all different kinds of coaches. And so that is very unusual for a player to have played for so many big clubs, handled the pressure in so many big games, and yet still have so much room to develop and grow and have so many years left in their career. So he's a bit of a unicorn in that sense, that he's played in lots of different countries, played for lots of different coaches, but has that ability to get better and better.
To be fair, like, it's quite funny because in my career I never had a trainer for longer than 1.5 seasons. So this is something that I hope I can have now, that I have a trainer or a manager who stays longer with me as a player, so you can grow more together also.